Now that we've seen how media-specific style sheets allow us to display our website differently depending on the browser or a printed page, we can take a look at how media queries will allow us to create a responsive website. When I say responsive, I mean this website can be displayed differently depending on the resolution of the browser or the device type, whether it's an iPad, an iPhone, or another mobile device, or a desktop machine. The first thing that we need to do to enable responsive features is to go into our HTML and paste the appropriate meta tag to the head section of our HTML file. As you can see, this meta tag is the viewport meta tag, and it sets the content of the page to the width of the device that's viewing it. So once we have this meta tag in place, we can jump over to our CSS and we can begin to look at media queries. Media queries are what tell the browser what CSS to display depending on the resolution of the monitor or the size of the browser window and the device type. Media query just begins with an @media, and then within the parentheses you define what size you want this breakpoint to display at. So in this case we're going to set it to max width of 480. And enclose that in brackets. And this media query is going to handle landscape, phones, and anything that's smaller than that. Now within this media query, I can copy any of the existing CSS or write new CSS within here. Anything that's above that's not within a media query is automatically going to be inherited by this size resolution. But we can overwrite certain properties within the media query. So, for example, if this is 480 and down, we wouldn't want our page width to be 500 with this padding and the width of 460. So what we'll do is we'll leave our padding, which will be inherited from this property up here, and we will set this to 360. So then this way, anytime the browser window is at 480 or smaller, the content area will change to 400 pixels wide. So if we hop over to our web browser, we can see we have our existing 500 pixel wide content area, and as I resize the browser window, that content area changes size. If I were not to have this media query in place, then a horizontal scroll bar would show up. The most common sizes for media queries are the following. And I'm going to copy and paste these over. I'm copying these from the Twitter Bootstrap website, which is a framework that helps allow you to build responsive websites very quickly. But without this framework, you can still use these media queries to handle different breakpoints. And when I say breakpoint, I mean the website will change size when it hits this size defined in the media query. So it breaks to that size. And it displays whatever CSS is within that media query. So as you can see, this is the large desktop size. It's at 1200 pixels wide. And portrait tablet to landscape and desktop which is 768 minimum and a max of 979. And then landscape phone and portrait tablet is 767.